I moved into my apartment on a Tuesday. I remember because the moving company charged me extra for a weekday slot, and I complained about it to the building manager, a tired-looking man named Gary, who handed me 2 keys and a stack of mail addressed to someone named R. Voss that he said he'd get around to forwarding. The apartment was a 1-bedroom on the 3rd floor of an old brick building, the kind with a temperamental radiator and hardwood floors that creaked in a way I found charming for exactly 1 week. It was cheap. Too cheap, my mother said. But I was 26, freshly out of a relationship, and I wanted a place that was mine, with a door that only I had the key to. That turned out not to be true. The first 2 weeks were normal. I unpacked, I hung curtains, I learned which floorboard by the kitchen groaned like it resented me. I made friends with the barista at the coffee shop downstairs. I started to feel, for the first time in a long time, like an adult with a life. Then the small things started. The first was the thermostat. I kept it at 68. I'm particular about it. Cold apartment, warm blankets. That's the dream. But I came home from work one Thursday and it was set to 74. The display glowing orange instead of the blue I always left it on. I figured I'd bumped it on my way out. I turned it back down and didn't think much of it. 3 days later, it happened again. Same number. 74. I stood in my kitchen holding my keys, staring at that little screen, feeling something in my stomach turn over slowly, like a key in a lock I didn't remember installing. I told my friend Priya about it over lunch. She laughed and said, "Girl, your apartment's haunted." And I laughed too, because that's what you do. You laugh because the alternative is admitting you're scared of your own home. I started locking the deadbolt and the chain, even to take out the trash. I told myself it was just anxiety. New city, new job, new place. Of course I was hypervigilant. That's what my therapist would have said if I'd still been able to afford a therapist. The second thing was the smell. Cigarette smoke, faint but unmistakable, curling out from somewhere near the hall closet. I don't smoke. Nobody in my life smokes. I checked the vents, checked under the sink, even called the building's emergency line, and the guy who came by shrugged and said, "Old building, smells travel weird," and left before I could ask him to actually look for the source. It was around this time, maybe 5 weeks in, that I found the photograph. I was cleaning out the hall closet, the one that always had that faint smoky smell, moving some boxes to get to a mildew spot I wanted to treat. Behind the water heater, wedged into a gap where the drywall didn't quite meet the floor, there was a photograph. Curled at the edges, a little warped from humidity. A woman, dark-haired, maybe late 30s, standing in what was unmistakably my kitchen. Same tile, same window, same ugly cabinet pulls I'd been meaning to replace. She wasn't smiling. She was looking at whoever held the camera the way you look at someone you don't trust. On the back, in blue pen, R. Voss. For when you come back, R. Voss. The name on the mail Gary had handed me on day 1. I didn't sleep well that night. I kept thinking about that phrase, for when you come back, not if, when. The next morning, I went down to the building office and asked Gary, as casually as I could manage, what happened to the last tenant. He got cagey in a way that made my skin crawl. Not dramatic, not sinister, just tired and evasive, like a man who'd had this conversation before and didn't want to have it again. "She moved out sudden," he said. "Owed some back rent. We had to change the locks." "You changed the locks?" "Course we did. Standard procedure." I asked when. He said about 4 months before I moved in. Here's the thing that I couldn't shake, that I still can't fully explain. If they changed the locks, why did my thermostat keep changing itself? Why did I keep smelling smoke from a woman who supposedly didn't live there anymore? Full stories and more on my YouTube channel Story for You. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to tell you I did the smart thing immediately. I didn't. I'm ashamed of how long it took me to act, but fear does something strange to your decision-making. It makes you want to pretend the problem is smaller than it is, because a small problem is manageable, and a big one means you have to blow up your whole life to fix it. What finally broke me was the voicemail. I came home from a late shift, around 11:40 p.m., and my phone showed a missed call from an unknown number and a voicemail 14 seconds long. I almost didn't listen to it. I wish, some nights, that I hadn't. It was a woman's voice, low, almost gentle, like she was trying not to startle me. "You're in my apartment," she said. "I left something for you. Check behind the mirror." That was it. 14 seconds. I stood in my hallway for a long time. I want to be honest with you. I thought about just leaving, getting in my car, driving to a hotel, dealing with the lease later. But some idiot, stubborn part of me, the part that pays a security deposit and refuses to just eat the loss, made me walk to the bathroom instead. The mirror over my sink was original to the apartment, one of those medicine cabinet types with a mirrored door. I'd never had a reason to really look behind it. I kept my toothpaste and ibuprofen in there and never thought twice. I opened it. Taped to the inside back panel, behind where the cabinet sat flush against the wall, was a key. A single brass key, old-fashioned, not like the modern ones the building used now. Next to it, a torn scrap of paper with an address on it. Not this address. A house, 40 minutes outside the city. I did not go to that house. I want to be very clear about that, because when I've told this story before, people ask if I went, like it's a movie and I'm supposed to have a third act. I didn't go. I called the police instead, which felt both like the right decision and, weirdly, like a disappointing one, because some morbid part of me wanted to know. The police were polite and unhelpful in the specific way police are when nothing has technically been proven to be a crime yet. A woman leaving a key and a note isn't illegal. Changing a thermostat, if she genuinely had a spare key to my unit, isn't illegal either, just deeply unsettling. They took a report, they said they'd look into it. I never heard back. I moved out 3 weeks later, broke the lease, ate the fee, didn't care. Gary didn't seem surprised. I still have the photograph. I don't know why I kept it. Sometimes late at night, I take it out and look at that woman's face, standing in a kitchen that used to be mine, and I wonder if somewhere out there, she's looking at a photograph too. One of me, taken through a window I never noticed, in an apartment I thought was only mine. I never found out who our Voss really was, or why she needed me, specifically me, to find that key. But every apartment I've lived in since, I've checked behind the mirrors first, before I unpack a single box. You should probably check yours too. Full stories and more on my YouTube channel Story for You, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.